Howdy folks, Dreadshells here, and welcome back to World of Tanks. I hope all of you guys are doing well. First of all, I want to apologize for the lapse in content on the channel as of late. I think it's been about 2 weeks since my last video that I released. Part of that is due to me being busy around the holidays, around Christmas and New Year's. Part of that has honestly been me not feeling like making videos. I've been focusing a lot on playing and not making videos, and just didn't feel the motivation to make videos over the last week or so. But I'm getting back into it today with the last video that you guys saw, the one-sided affair that I released before this one, and which was a SP1C game on Steps Encounter from the South Spawn. And now I'm going to show you guys a game from Steps Encounter in the SP1C from the North Spawn. So diving right into it here, looking at the team comps, we are very, very good matchmaking as far as tiering is concerned. The SP1C gets tier 8 matchmaking, so we're top tier. There's only one RD apiece, which is good. I prefer no RD at all, but one RD will do. And once again, like I've explained before in my past videos over and over again, when I'm looking for the ability of the enemy team and the ability of your team, I don't look for heavies, mediums, tank destroyers, scouts, yes, of course, and arty, but what I'm looking for is armor. First of all, I think the primary attribute I look for is actually view range. So scouting through KV4 has bad view range. T32 actually has really, really good view range for a tier 8 American heavy. So you have to watch out for these heavy tanks when you're scouting on maps, especially on maps where the vision lanes are close to each other as far as the positions. T34 vision is okay, not very good. Centurion and Pershing view ranges are respectable. Borsig is not so much good view range, although it will be good with when they have their binocs up, but it's more that they will outspot you due to their camo rating and not so much their view range. KV-122, which is the KV-1S, released as a premium, by the way, if you guys don't know what that tank is, and it has a lot of controversy going about on the tank, which basically Wargaming recycled the old, if you're new to the game, the KV-85, as you know it in the game, used to be the KV-1S. And the KV-1S used to be the seal clubbing tier 6 tank of choice, and in tank companies as well. So anyway, they recycled it and made it into a tier 7 premium, and basically did nothing to the tank other than give it some extra HP. So yeah, there was some controversy about that. T29, I can easily outspot. The Comet I can easily outspot, although I need to watch out for his mobility, and that's the other attribute I need to look for. M41 Bulldog has great mobility and great view range. The M41 Bulldog has 400 meters base view range. KV2 has terrible view range, and of course the Arty. The other attribute you need to be looking for when you're looking for what can the enemy team do is their mobility. And they are actually quite slow. They have 3 top tier heavies that aren't very mobile. The Centurion, while it is a medium, it isn't slow, but it isn't fast either. I would call it average. Kind of the same thing with the Pershing. The Borsig is kind of slow. The mid-tier heavies here have respectable mobility for heavies, but they're also not very fast. So the only mobility that I need to worry about on the enemy team here is the Comet and the Bulldog. And as far as armor is concerned, when I need to be thinking about my ammo choices, do I need to be firing AP, which has 180 on the SP1C, or Heat, which has 250 pen? And also, when you're looking through the enemy team and you're thinking about what kind of armor values that they have, don't only think about them for yourself, but also think about what kind of guns that you have on your team, right? So we have 110, T32, Ferdinand, Scorpion, Tiger. We have a lot of tanks that can easily pen most of these tanks here on the enemy team, with the exception of maybe the KV4, and of obviously if the T32 and T34 are hold down. So keep that in mind when you're trying to prioritize your targets during the course of a battle, especially early. If you have flanking shots on multiple enemy targets, try and shoot the tanks that are obviously low health first, of course, but also try to be shooting the tanks that are harder for your team to pen, and that will definitely help them out in pushing a position. But anyway, I've rambled on too much. Let's just start the game. Now, the one thing that I do not like about the SP1C is its mobility or lack thereof. It only has 58 kilometers an hour top speed, which is, which some of you may say, well, that sounds respectable. You know, when you're used to playing heavy tanks or certain medium tanks, that doesn't sound slow at all. But in scout terms, 58 kilometers an hour top speed is terrible slow. The M41 Walker Bulldog on the enemy team, for example, can go 72 kilometers an hour top speed, which is vastly faster than me. So I've been using this bush as of late here, kind of on the center draw road, and you can get some vision on tanks that are crossing into that mid gap there in H6 and J6. And you can kind of get a rough idea for the dispersion of the enemy team, which tanks they're sending where. Holding my fire at the moment here, I don't want to get spotted yet. Got to keep an eye on that Bulldog there and see what he's wanting to do there in the middle. Hopefully, since I spotted him, he will feel a little bit nervous about pushing up. T29 gives me his side there. Knew the risk that I might get spotted, but I wanted to take the shot to hopefully help secure the kill, and our team do. They did a great job putting in some sniper fire for the spots that I have. And now I was shifting over to the right bush here. There's a duality of bush rock here. You can use the left side or the right side. And this M41 Walker Bulldog has made a really bad decision. That bush that is very popular to go to in E7 there is a very, very bad place to go to in early game. Want to cross over here and keep in cover behind this rock. Kind of dangerous crossing the mid gap there, as there might be snipers on the enemy team on the ridge there in G7 or so. But our team secured the kill on the Bulldog, so let me pause the game here. Things are happening a little too fast, and I can't explain all the successive decisions here in time. So first of all, going back to the decision of the spotting positions that you can go to from the north spawn. Like I said, there's a dual position here. You can use this bush next to this rock here that's on the left as you are coming from the north. And you can get spots onto the mid gap and on the couple sniping positions here. You usually won't spot the enemy tanks here until they fire, unless they have really bad camo rating. But it's better than nothing. And then if you feel that you're not getting a very productive spots, you can shift across and move up to this bush, which is a little bit more tricky to use on this rock here on the right side, as if you were sitting on the north side of it. It's a little bit more tricky to use because the bush is offset back to the north a little bit, so it's hard to, and there's this extra bush in front of it, so it's hard to get close enough here to make this bush transparent and see through it without exposing your tank through this bush here. But once you are able to figure it out, you can get spots here along here on the what is that, H4 and H5 area. And also you can get, if you look at the mini map here, you can get some spots, potential spots back here in J3, which is a really common position where some hold down tanks or some snipers like to sit on standard mode anyway, not necessarily in counter mode. But anyway, getting back to my decision on why I'm moving into the middle here so early. And the main reason is, first of all, the M41 Bulldog is dead. He moved up to this position here early in E7, which is a really bad position to go to, in my opinion, from the south spawn, and especially in encounter mode, and especially late. He didn't go here right away, he went here late. And the other reason that this is a really bad position to go to early from the south spawn is because if you go here and you get spotted going here, right? If you're a scout and you're crossing over here across the field, and if you get spotted, which happens a lot, by the way, because it's not uncommon for the north team's scout to want to go to the same position here. If you get spotted and you go up here and you get into cover behind this rock, you have solid cover, right? But the thing is, you are now pinned here. You cannot retreat until all the snipers here are dead or leave, and all the snipers here are dead and or leave. So basically, you trap yourself, and that's a really bad thing to do. I do use this position sometimes from the south spawn in mid to late game, once I know where the enemy tanks are, but if you don't know where the enemy tanks are, don't go here early. And it's really common, like I said before, for north spawn scouts to go here early. And since, if you look at the minimap here, how the D7, E7 rock here is offset, the north spawn has an advantage in getting to this position first. So not as much as on encounter mode, but definitely on standard mode, the north spawn has an advantage. So the north spawn scouts will be here in position before you cross over into the field. So I would not recommend that. But going back to the positioning, I'm going up through the middle here once because, like I said before, the bulldog is dead. And the minimap counting, it's a vastly helpful technique for you guys to learn, is to do minimap quick counts. So first of all, we know that 2 of the enemy team are dead. 1 are artillery, so that's 3 tanks that we know we won't be facing. And then do a minimap count on the west flank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we literally know where all the enemy tanks are. And since the KV-2 was spotted crossing over here into the east, it's a good assumption that he's going to continue to do so. So now I know that where all the entire enemy team is, I know I have free reign to move and move about into this middle road and this middle draw area. And I'm going to be starting to harass these tank destroyers over here in H4. Kind of a lengthy explanation, and I know it's not some of your guys' favorite habit of mine to do that, but quite honestly, a lot of YouTube channels do the brief summary, and I like to be more thorough in my explanation. So I apologize if that's not your cup of tea, but that's kind of how the way I like to do things. So we get a nice couple of shots into the side of the Borsig there and start to harass him. Forces him to back off, get a little bit of shared assistance damage there. I think I'm sharing the assistance damage here with this AC-46 who's moving up into the open field, which is not exactly the best approach line. Spot the M44 on the enemy team, as he has very unwisely decided to sit in that particular position. And we get a blind kill as he goes unspotted. Probably he went unspotted because I spotted him when he fired, and his camo rating dropped, and your camo rating drops a lot when any tank fires. And once that camo rating had reset after he fired, he gotten unspotted, as well as me going behind the ridgeline, of course. So we are able to secure a kill on the M44 and on the T25AT from behind. Made a tactical misplay there, actually, going over and trying to help clean up the west flank. What I should have been doing is, my team have the west flank more or less in hand, and the east flank was inevitably lost for sure, but what you need to be thinking about is the shots of opportunity that I can get in while my teammates were still alive up here in B7 and B8. So a tactical misplay on my part. I should have relocated over here, and I could have gotten at least one potential clip of damage into one of the enemies over here. Being really careful as I'm coming up across this crest, because I knew that the KV-2 was last spotted on the back side here, and he's still there. And I don't really feel like getting derped. The SP-1C is notorious for getting penned with HE all the time. Its armor is basically cardboard, so if you ever see an SP-1C on the battlefield, I don't remember the armor values off the top of my head. I apologize about that. I might link that in the description below. But basically, this tank gets penned by HE all the time, unless the tracks absorb it, the tracks being spaced armor. Using some bush mechanics here to get a free shot of damage into there in the KV-122 without getting spotted. But now we're under a lot of pressure here. I only have 10 seconds here to reset. I do have 2 shots, so I need to spread it between 2 enemies to get the maximum amount of resets. Shoot the Centurion and shoot the Comet. I am full HP, so I'm willing to take the damage from the Comet and potentially anyone else, so I make sure that my shot is aimed and lands and does damage. and that way I get the reset in. I initially wasn't. I wanted to get resets in onto the south side, but the KV2 was sitting there and screening me off. Some pro driving there. Don't look backwards while you're driving forwards. It's not a good idea. So yeah, some failed driving there on my part. But now the enemy team are actually making a really bad mistake. They have too many people in one position and not enough people watching one flank. They need to put a couple of tanks up here onto this kind of this mid-plateau where I'm sitting at currently. But my initial resets, along with the T-34-100, who rushed in heroically to get one reset in, has bought my team enough time to get over here. And now that my team are pushing in frontally, I'm able now to flank around to the side of them from the south of the encounter cap zone area and get some flanking fire in. Make sure to secure the one-shots there to take out enemy guns from the fight as quickly as possible, as it is a very close fight. A technique that you should do no matter how close the fight is or isn't. It's a good habit to practice. Going for the Commander's Cupola there on the AC-46, as the AC-46 actually has decent frontal armor, and I want to make sure that my shot's pen, so I need to aim for the weak spot there. And now I don't want to brawl with these guys at all, right? The KV-2 can one-shot me potentially if he's using the derp gun, and the Centurion has a really good rate of fire, so I'm not able to remove either of their guns quickly enough in my current position before they're able to put out enough damage to kill me. So I need to get some distance. Plus, they stopped capping. They pushed up out of the cap circle to respond to my team's push into them, and they killed the 3 guys or so. I can't remember who came over to reset. I know the Tiger was one of them. But they came over to, my team came over to reset, and so they turned around and engaged them. So they left the cap circle, so now I'm under no pressure at all to be engaging them, right? Adapt to the situation. They were capping, right? And the cap got really close, but now I have no need to be under a lot of pressure to reset very quickly, you know. So I'm relocating here, trying to get to the north side, pop up from an unexpected direction, and the Centurion on the enemy team was thinking the exact same thing. Some lazy auto-aiming here, but since it's a Centurion, it's okay, I guess, because the Centurion has really bad side armor. And we spot the KV-2 there as we kill the Centurion 1. Our M44 puts a shot of damage into the KV-2. And I communicate that with the Arty. It's always good to try to communicate with your teammates if you have spotted a target and they go unspotted, and you receive damage notifications, and you're in a particular situation like this where it's very important to know what the remaining hit points of the enemy vehicles are. If you have teammates with you still alive in a close game like this, it's really good to communicate to them how much damage that they did, so they know roughly how much HP that they have left. Of course, there's mods for that, so that people can know roughly or exactly in some cases, in some mods, if the enemy tank has been spotted recently, how much HP that they have left. But I play World of Tanks completely vanilla, and I've done so for over 3 years, so I like the mental challenge. So being really careful here, peeking up. I'm really worried about getting derped here. Reverse right back down into cover after I spot the KV-2 here, expecting to get spotted even with the KV-2's really terrible view range, but I don't. And he starts moving up, and I have some nice side shots here. And it turns out that I was a little bit overly worried about the KV-2, because if you guys notice there, looking at the silhouette of the KV-2, before I killed him, you'll notice that he was using a really long gun, which means that he wasn't using the howitzer, the 152mm, but he was using the 107, I think, the 107mm gun that is also the same gun that you can use on the T150. So he couldn't have one-shot me. Although, if you had been paying attention, he could have loaded HE and still done a lot of damage to me, as that gun has 300 alpha damage, I think. So, I'm not sure what the alpha damage is on that gun with HE, but yeah, it's still a lot of HP that he could have taken off me, but he couldn't have one-shot me. But anyway, it turned out that our team did enough, and I was able to get the resets in here with the help of some of my teammates, and able to pressure the enemy, keep flanking back and forth, side to side, and slowly eliminating their guns, rather. Basically, the technique that you guys need to be thinking about when you are scouting in steps early, like I said before, is there's basically only a couple positions that you can use on this map from the north spawn. Everyone knows about this D7 rock here, which is okay. It can spot the G7 and the G8 sniping positions okay, and there's a little bit of a gap here right on the western side of G9 where you can spot tanks as they're crossing over into the east flank here. But I don't like going to this rock anymore unless it's kind of a low tier game, kind of like tier 4, tier 5 scouts, which, you know, tier 5, 6, 7 matchmaking. Because they redesigned steps quite a while ago. I don't remember which patch it was, where they put this extra ridge line in here, and it blocks a lot of your vision, and you're not able to get easy shots from this position either. So I like to play in this middle road area here on the E5, and then on the F4 rock bush combination here that I was showing you guys earlier. Always be relocating, always be trying to adapt to the situation, and you usually, if you're able to practice that and be able to do that over and over again, you'll start winning more games than you are losing. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, I apologize for the lapse in content on the channel recently, but don't worry, I plan on releasing a lot of videos over the next week or so. Wish you guys the best of luck out there in playing your SP1C. Happy hunting, and take care.